right, so thank you for coming tonight. So tonight we're going to be talking about our past, what God thinks of it, and what the purpose of it is. Some of us are not very proud of our past. We're not happy about our past. We're not happy about what we've done. But somehow, some way, God uses it for His purpose and to essentially bring us to Him, to have an encounter with Him at some point. Because if I didn't have my past, I don't think I ever would have met God. You know, without my past and what I went through, I don't think if everything just kept on going right and I just never felt like something's wrong, I don't think I ever would have had an encounter with God. So when that word comes up a lot, that word past comes up, so many thoughts start rushing to our head. And about, oh, I remember back in the day we used to do this. I remember back in the day we used to do that. Oh, you remember when you were like this? Oh, you remember when you were like that? And what's crazy is when you make that transformation to Christ, people like to bring up your past. Oh, look at you being all holy now. Oh, look at you doing this now. Like you think you're better than everybody? No, I had an encounter that changed my life and I can't keep doing what I used to do. And what they do is they go up to you and they're like, why did you stop hanging out with us? Why did you stop doing this? Like, I can't do what I used to do. God has done something in me where I can't go back to that past of where I came from. And they're going to point the finger, oh, you used to do this, oh, you used to do that. And they're going to try and drag you right back to it. But your friends and your family aren't the only ones that do it. The devil does it too. The devil wants to keep you there. He doesn't want you to get out of it. All right? He wants to keep you in your past, the past that kept you away from Jesus. That's where he wants to keep you. He doesn't want you out of it. So he's going to remind you too of, really, after everything you've done, you think you could just walk into the presence of God like it doesn't exist?
That's good.
And it's like, well, yeah, because that's what God said. He's the one, I'm the one that he's looking for. I wasn't looking for him, he was looking for me. So he made his presence open. This is open for absolutely anybody. I don't care what you did, what you've done, it's already been paid. All you need to do is accept it. Accept my gift. Accept the salvation that I'm offering you. And to this day, there's people that just dwell on it, on the past. They can't get past it. They're always living in back in the day. And since they're always living in back in the day, they never move forward. I know you know somebody that's still doing the same thing they used to do in high school. And nothing has changed. They keep living. They just want to stay in that time period. Because in that time period is when everything was great. I was so cool. I was so this. And they don't want to leave it. So they just keep on dwelling on it. So they never actually reach a future. They just stick to what I've been doing my whole life because it's comfortable. I know how to do it. And it just doesn't get old for them. Or maybe it does, but since they're just so comfortable in it, I don't want to get out of it. I just want to stay here and I want to keep the people I'm with staying with me. All right? Because there's people that like to keep you where you are because I like where I am and I don't want to see you move forward and not me, so I need you to stay here. I need you to stay with me in this comfortable spot because I need to be surrounded by other people that are with me, And when you move on to future, you start to surround yourself with other people that have the same mindset of, hey, I don't want to stay stuck in the past. I want to keep on going forward.
That's good.
And there are many of us that would like to go back to the past and maybe change some things, but we can't. You cannot change your past. As hard as it is, as bad as it is, you can't erase it. It isn't going anywhere. It's there, right? God erases it. He forgets about it. But sometimes we go back and we're like, man, I remember how I used to be. I remember where I came from. Doesn't mean I go back to it, but I remember because I need to remind myself of where God took me out of. So I don't dwell on the past and go back to the past and live in the past. I only think about the past to look at where God took me out of. Look at where he took me from. That Samuel from the past, I don't recognize him. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know what that guy was thinking. He was an idiot. I don't know what he was doing. Wow, did God change my life? And we look at that and we're just like, how, thank you, God, for taking me out of my past. But you don't know your past is your past until you're out of it. Because once God has that future that he's preparing for and you enter it, you're like, wow, man, I was living in that for how long? I was living in fear for how long? I was living in depression for how long? And I didn't realize I was living in that until God opened my eyes to it and said, this is what you've been living in for the last 15 years. He opens your eyes and you're just like, man, these 15 years, I haven't done anything. I've been the same person for this long and I haven't reached. I have not moved forward at all. Maybe physically I have, but inside, nothing ever changed. I stayed the same. And there's a lot of things, like I said, that we'd like to change that we did do. There's a lot of mean things we did. There's a lot of mean things I did. And we look back and we're like, man, if I can only go back and just tell that person I'm sorry. I have a list I want to go back to and just be like, hey, I'm sorry I did this to you. I was an idiot, okay? I didn't have Christ in my life, and I'm sorry. There's just nothing else to say. And we wish we could go back and change those things, but we can't unless we find them, unless God arranges that encounter and just like, hey, I just want to tell you, remember that one time I did this, I'm sorry. If I ever hurt you, I want you to forgive me, I apologize. There's some of us, man, it really bothers us. We really wish, man, I can just go back and change this one moment in my life. Just that one moment, and I wouldn't feel like this. But you can't dwell on it. God already forgot about it. You think about it more than he does. He doesn't even think about it. You ask him, hey, do you remember that one? No, I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what he says. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm living in the now. I'm not living in what you did. God lives in the what you're gonna do. That's great what you did last time. I don't know what you're gonna do this time. Whatever you preached last week was great, but what are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
That song you sang last week was great, but what are you gonna do now? You know, Lord, your glory was great last week, but I need something this week too. Your presence was good yesterday, but I need your presence now again today. That's great what you did back in the day, but what are you going to do now? You always got to have that mindset of, I haven't preached my best sermon yet. I haven't sang my best song yet. I haven't seen the full glory of God yet. We're in this constant pursuit of who God is and what he does, and it's just that constant, of just learning more and more and more about him, and it just doesn't stop. Because what you learned last week, all right, there's something else to learn this week now about God. There's always something to learn. There's always something to pursue about him. And the present can get difficult. And when the present gets difficult, we begin to revert back to our past. Because now we're in the present, we're in an unknown thing of, I'm doing something new, I'm trying something new, and it ain't working out right. It ain't really working out the way I thought it would. I feel like quitting, so I'm just going to revert back to what I know I'm good at. And I was good at hanging out, and I was good at smoking weed, and I was good at having sex, and I was good at doing all those things. I wasn't good at this God thing. So I'm just going to quit this God thing and just go back to what I was doing. I was good at bringing people down. I was good at being a liar. I was good at being a manipulator. I was good at being jealous and angry. I was good at all those things. And now when I enter this present day, when I enter this encounter with God, that I feel this pull on me, but I feel like I can't live up to those standards, so I'm just going to revert back to what I know I could live up to. But God is saying, this is when you come into a relationship with me, I don't expect you to have it all together. You aren't supposed to have it all together. That's why I'm coming into your life. Because I prepared a life for you. And yes, it's going to be difficult because, again, God wants to keep you in that, or the devil wants to keep you in that past. All right? But yeah, it's going to be choppy at first. Absolutely. You are doing something totally new. You are following a God where sometimes he's invisible. I'm not hearing from him. I'm not seeing him. It's absolutely difficult, but you see, as the more you pursue every day, you get that one moment of, wow, God, you are here. You know, you were listening to me. It's absolutely difficult starting a new relationship with Christ, but it's necessary. It is necessary for you to go through those hard moments, because now your faith is being tested, your character is being tested, because there are more difficult things that are going to come to pull you away from that faith. So if you could last just a little bit longer, you'll see, like, all right, it ain't that bad. But it's a constant battle every single day between you and your flesh and following Christ and having that faith to just keep pursuing him. We're going to go to Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43, 18 through 19. And it reads, "Do not remember the past events, pay no attention to things of old. Look, I'm about to do something new, even now it is coming. Do you not see it? Indeed, I will make a way in the wilderness, rivers in the desert." So we'll start with Isaiah begins to say, pay no attention of things of the old. Stop paying attention to the old stuff. And yes, that includes what you did yesterday and last week and last month and 3 months ago. That's old. That's done with. It's in the past. We can't do anything about it. It's over.
That's good.
What am I going to do today? What I just did 3 hours ago, that's the past. It's old. I can't dwell on it. I can't change it. I can't do anything about it. Now what are we going to do moving forward? And we have to understand every choice we make affects our future, whether it's good or bad. It affects our future somehow. And here, you could see God, speaking through the prophet Isaiah, just saying, forget about the things of the old. All right? And when we do this, when we stop paying attention to the old stuff, all right? Because when we dwell on it, when we dwell on the past, we dwell on the old things, all it's going to do is remind us of how we failed, on how we tried to do it and we just weren't capable of doing it. And all it does is it freezes you. Because we think about that one time, oh, this moment's coming up again, but I remember when I did this before and I failed. I messed up. And I keep thinking about how I messed up. Instead of thinking about, maybe this time will be different, we just think about, I remember those other times I did it. It's not possible. I've tried this God thing once, twice already. I'm not good at it. I've failed already. I failed him a bunch of times. I'm not going to waste his time, and I'm not going to waste mine. And that's those are the thoughts we put in our head. Like, I'm not, I don't have things right, so I'm not going to go to Christ yet. I don't have my life together, so I'm not going to Christ yet. I tried it, but since I didn't have anything together, like, that's all you do. You remind yourself of just how many times you messed up, and so that keeps you from trying other things. It keeps you from trying new things. It keeps you from entering into the future that God has for you. And that's what we do when things don't go well. We revert back. This isn't going well. Well, I'm just going to go back to what I know. Even learning a new instrument. Man, I'm not learning fast enough. I'm not really good. I'm just going to go back to what I do know. I know the drums. I'm just going to stay on that. And that's it. I'm not going to challenge myself. I'm not going to do that. I've never ridden a motorcycle before. I want to do the motor class. It's not going right. 3 days in, I should just quit and stop wasting my time and their time. And I wouldn't be where I am today if I did quit. But since when I first entered into a relationship with Christ, you go through those hard moments to show you, just keep pushing, just keep pursuing. You will find what you're looking for. God said, when you search for me with all your might, with all your heart, with all your soul, you're going to find him. So if you really want something, you can't just give up on it because you messed up once. You have to keep pursuing it. God, if I did not hear from you today, you best believe I'll be talking to you tomorrow, and I'm expecting something from you. And if I didn't get it tomorrow, best believe you're going to hear from me the next day, because I'm expecting an answer from you. I am expecting something from you. You told me if I keep looking for you, I will find you.
That's right.
So I'm going to keep looking until I find you. And if I didn't find you yesterday, if I didn't find you last week, I'm still going to keep looking for you and pursuing you until I find you. Until you show yourself to me. Because again, he doesn't owe us anything at all. He does not owe us anything. We owe him everything. Because if it wasn't for him, I'd be condemned to hell right now. No ifs or buts about it. I wouldn't know if I'd be alive right now. Who knows? I don't know. You know? And we revert back to those times where we had life without God and we couldn't do it ourselves, and we realize now, when we're entering to that new thing, you see, you didn't have Christ when you did this first. Now that you have him, things will be different. Those who have gotten divorces or whatever, yeah, you might have gotten one and you did not have Christ on the first one, so you're scared of, man, I'm scared to remarry because my first one didn't go right. It didn't go so well. Well, you didn't have Christ on that one. You have Christ in this one, so things will be different when you keep him at the center.
That's good.
You know, Lord, I tried this job without you once. It didn't work out well, and you want me to do it again? Well, you have me now, so it's going to be different. See, you started that business without me. That's why I crashed. Now you're starting one with me. It's going to be different. And don't compare yourself. Well, that guy doesn't have you, and he's rising all the way to the top. Stop comparing yourself. You let God deal with him. And that's it. God's plan for him is the same one for you. Stop comparing plans for each other. They're different. They're going to be different. They're not going to be the same. So we need to stop doing that. And he's going to do something new. Even now it is coming. Do you not see? You have to open your eyes and see God is trying to break the past so you can move. And there are people where things were done to them when they were young that scarred them for life. There are things that they've seen, there are things that were done to them, just the way they grew up. You know, I didn't have the right parents like they did. I didn't have the right brother and sister like they did. You know, and there's some people where we wish we just never met. We wish, why were they ever in my life in the first place? Because that is what messed me up, hanging out with that person. God, why did you even allow us to have an encounter, man? That person is the one that scarred me for life. And it could be a family member. It could be a stranger, it could be anything. That encounter is what scarred me for the rest of my life. That encounter is what keeps me dwelling on the past, me believing I cannot move past it. Because there's things that have been said to us that we feel like we can't move past either. When we were told we were stupid and won't do anything, we can't live past that because we believed it. We can't move forward from it because we dwell on those words. It's not just situation. There's words that people cannot get past. Oh, you're a failure, you never do anything, and we believe it and we cannot move past it. Because we dwell on that past. And God is saying, I'm getting ready to do something new. You need to open your eyes. I'm about to break all those words that were said over your life. I'm about to break all the damage that was done in your life. And I'm going to do something new with it. Because I know right now you feel like, man, that just totally messed me up. And God can take it and turn it around for your good to now bless somebody else with what he's going to put inside of you. But if you don't open your eyes and see what he is doing, the work he is starting to do in you, and you just keep your eyes closed the whole time, this is going to pass you by. And you're not going to see anything. I want to see it. And God is telling you to open your eyes and look at what he's doing. Some of you find yourself in a wilderness. Some of you are finding it in a river, and God is in a desert. God's saying, I'm going to put a river in your desert. God is saying, I'm going to make a way out of your wilderness wherever you find yourself. If you find yourself in a wilderness of your past, I will make a way to get you out of it. If you find yourself in a desert of your past, I will make a river for you to drink from. If you are drowning so much from it, he will make a way out of it. But you have to understand, you cannot change anything about it. What's done is done. What am I going to do now? Now we're going to go to Genesis 19. Genesis 19:17 is where we're going to start. So, when we go into this, I like to say we cannot go back to where we came from before we had a taste of Christ. There's a lot of people that have had a taste, and they're like, man, this tastes really good, but they didn't stay in it. They reverted back to what they used to do before they had Christ. And you have to ingrain that in yourself. No matter how hard this gets, I will not go back to where I was. Because where I was wasn't working either. I literally have nothing to lose coming into a new relationship with Christ. And I wouldn't even say new. Because there are seasoned Christian veterans, I'll say that. At any point in time, they'll revert and go back to what they used to do. Doesn't matter how long you've known him. All right? So here in Genesis 19, Lot and Abraham had separated, and Lot was living near Sodom and Gomorrah. And God was getting ready to totally destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of all the sinful stuff that was going on there. You think we're bad now? Sodom and Gomorrah was a whole nother level, okay? That was like, think of anything terrible, horrible, that's what was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? Any violation of the law you think of, that's what was happening there. For God to destroy a whole city, 2 cities, like, it's bad. Okay, we got earthquakes and stuff now, but God was like, no, I am destroying this place, all right? So when we look at Lot and Abraham, angels came to Lot and told him, hey, we're going to destroy this city and you got to get out of here with your family, with your wife. You guys have to get out. Okay? You guys got to get out of here. So we'll start at 15. Genesis 19:15. At daybreak, the angels urged Lot on, get up, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away in the punishment of the city. When I read that, I just think of get up, get out of your past, and get out of that sinful nature, because you're going to receive the punishment if you don't get out of it. And it's up to you at this point. Do you want to live in it, or do you want to get out of it? Okay? I got sidetracked, I'm sorry. But he hesitated. Because of the Lord's compassion for him, the men grabbed his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters. Then they brought him out and left him outside of the city. And if you ain't going to get yourself out, God is going to get you out. If you're not going to get up and do it, God said he had compassion, and he said, you know what, I'm taking you outside of the city. I cannot bear to watch you do this to yourself. Okay? And even though Lot, the reason why Lot was saved, everyone was praying, Lot was saved because God saw that his heart was still good. He wasn't like the other people living around there. So he's like, I'm going to get you out of here. All right? So as soon as the angels got them outside, one of them said, run for your lives, don't look back, and don't stop anywhere on the plain. Run to the mountains or you'll be swept away. This is the attitude we should have when it comes to reverting back to where I was before I knew Christ. Run away, don't stop, keep on running. I'm not looking backwards, I'm just running, I'm going. I am not going to stop to look back and look at it. Man, what a pretty past. Like, no. I'm not doing that. And he told Lot, you need to run. Do not look back, don't stop anywhere. Don't stop anywhere. And I can see it as like we're getting out of it. And then that's always when all of a sudden everyone wants to just come back into your life and just take you into who you were. As you're making yourself out of the wilderness, out of the desert, there's people like stopping you before you leave, like, hey, before you leave, just one more time. Come on, one more time ain't gonna hurt. We've all heard that one before. Oh, it's just once, like whatever, just don't do it again. You know what I'm saying? All the devil needs is that one opportunity. All he needs is that one time, and that is it, to get you to come back or to get you to stay. That's all he needs, all right? Because he'll satisfy your flesh. That he will do. But he won't satisfy your soul. That's only something God can do. Mm. Your flesh will, it is 100% guaranteed the devil will satisfy your flesh. He won't fail in that aspect. I'll tell you that right now. Because even people doing these drugs, whatever, to them, they feel great. I can't live without this stuff. People who are, and it's not just drugs, it's a lot of other things, and they love it. They love the feeling, they love that. But when it comes to their soul, that's something totally different. And that's something only God can 100% satisfy. A person cannot satisfy your soul. Because if you're relying on that, it ain't going to be satisfied. Only God can satisfy your soul. And that is it. So, don't look back, don't stop anywhere on the plain, run to the mountains, or you'll be swept away. But Lot said to them, no, my lords, please, your servant has indeed found favor in your sight. And you have shown me great kindness of saving my life, but I can't run to the mountains. The disaster will overtake me, and I will die. Look, this town is close enough for me to run to it, a small place. Please let me go there. It's only a small place, isn't it? So that I can survive. And he said to him, all right, I'll grant you your request about the matter too, but I will not demolish the town you mentioned. Hurry up, run there, for I cannot do anything until you get there. I cannot do anything to your past until I get you out of it. If you're still in it, and I'm trying to destroy it and break it, you're going to be part of it. I need you to get out of it, so I give you nothing to come back to. I should have absolutely nothing to come back to, because it's been destroyed. I allowed God to come, destroy where I came from, destroy who I was, and enter into a new land with him. But if I don't get out of this land, because he has compassion on my life, I can't destroy this if you're still in here. I need to get you out. Once I get you out, then I can destroy this, because when you come back, I want you to see absolutely nothing when you look at it. When you look back at your past and where you came from, I want you to see nothing. It's gone. It's away. You want to hit a point where there's absolutely nothing to go back to. I had nothing to go back to. What's there? What did I leave behind? Nothing. What am I going to go back to? Nothing. I ain't going back to that. And now when I look, it's been burned away. It's gone. There's nothing to go back to. So now it's like, I have no other option but to follow you now, God. I can't go back to who I used to be anymore. I don't want to go back to it. Hurry up, run there, for I cannot do anything until you get there. Therefore, the name of the city is Zor. The sun had risen over the land when Lot reached Zor. Then out of the sky, the Lord rained burning sulfur over Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord. He demolished these cities, the entire plain, all the inhabitants of the cities, and whatever grew on the ground. But his wife looked back and became a pillar of salt. He gives some significant instructions: do not look back. When you look back, and she wasn't looking back thinking, man, look at where God took me from. Like, that wasn't the attitude. His wife was looking back, longing for what was back there. She was looking back, looking at, man, look at all those things. I'm going to look at the life I'm leaving behind right now. Does nobody else see this? Look at all the possessions. Look at all the life we had here. Look at what we're leaving. As she turned into a pillar of salt. Because where God was taking Lot, you cannot be thinking about what was over there. Because if you're thinking about what was over there, you're not thinking about what's going on ahead of you. You're not thinking about the future. You keep thinking about what's over there. And where I'm taking you, I can't have you thinking about what was over there. So I have to destroy it. End of story, period. So she looked back, she became frozen, she couldn't move forward because the life she knew back there is all she wanted. That was comfortable. And I'm leaving this to do what? Where's God taking us now? We were good right here.
That's right.
And this is what comes to our mind. I was good here. Where are you taking me now? God cannot take that mindset of looking back here into now going into the new land. You cannot take the plow. The word says you can't take the plow and go forward and look backwards at the same time. Because while you're moving the plow, you're messing up everything that's going on up here. You're going in zigzag circles. You don't know what's happening. You can't see. When the Lord took Israel out of Egypt and took them to the promised land, all the people with the slave mentality didn't go to the promised land. He had to get rid of them all first. Now we can enter the promised land because these people don't have that slave mentality of over there. That slave mentality ain't going to cut it in the promised land. So when you're ready to get rid of it, you can enter the promised land. But if you keep having that slave mentality, you can't enter it. And so early in the morning, Abraham went to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah and all the land of the plain and saw that the smoke was going up from the land like the smoke of a furnace. So it was when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham and brought Lot out of the middle of the people when he demolished the city where Lot had lived. This is what I want God to do. Whenever I want to revert back, whenever I want to go back, when I try to go back, I want nothing to be there. I want there to be nothing for me to find. Because if he does that, then I'm like, I have nothing to go back to. I guess I should just keep pursuing him. Because he destroyed everything that I came from. It's gone. That's what I want. I don't want that to exist anymore. I don't want to think about it. I want to think about moving ahead. Like I said, it's okay to think about, man, look where God took me from. And you look at all that burnt stuff and you're like, man, I remember when it was up and running. I remember the city that I built myself. But it's not there anymore. I can't go back to it. Now we're going to go to John 21. We're going to read John 21, 1 through 7. All right, at this point, Jesus already died. He resurrected. He had already appeared to the disciples 2 times. All right. So what we're going to be reading about here is the 3rd time that God appears to the disciples again. And when Jesus had died and risen up again, the disciples thought that Jesus' time here is over, and that was it. The 3 years we spent together watching him do miracles, watching him do everything he did, ministering. That was a good time, guys. Now let's just go back to, I guess, what we were doing before he was here. It was as if, like, that was a nice time, good time. Now we're just gonna live life like we used to before God showed up in our lives after he had risen up. And he already came to them twice already. So it's like, he might appear every now and then just to talk to us again, but other than that, I guess it's over. This is it. It's done. So at this point, after this, Jesus revealed himself again to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. He revealed himself in this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, called twin Nathanael from Cana of Galilee, Zebedee's sons, and the 2 other of his disciples were together. I'm going fishing, Simon Peter said to them. When Peter said this, I'm going fishing, it wasn't a, let's go fishing to eat, or, it was just a, you know what, we have nothing else to do. And fishing is what I was really good at. So I'm going to do that, and just to occupy my thoughts and my time and just try to get away from what just happened. And just try to basically live life as if, again, it was a good time, but now it's time to go back to normal. We're done traveling around, we're done doing all that, and it's time to just go back to normal. I'm going fishing. That's what I'm doing. It wasn't a recreational fishing, it was I'm going back to the way my life was. I'm going fishing. Simon Peter said to them, "We're coming with you," they told him. So they went out, got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. When daybreak came, Jesus stood on the shore. However, the disciples did not know it was Jesus. "Men," Jesus called to them, "you don't have any fish, do you?" God already knew. You see, what's crazy is, this is the first encounter Jesus had with Peter the first time when he called him to follow him. He was fishing, and he caught nothing. So here we go again the second time, because it looks like Jesus is getting ready to call him again. And he waited for this moment to call him again, because Peter's going to know, man, this is how I saw Jesus the first time. So here we go a second round. I'm going fishing without Christ. Didn't catch anything. And Jesus said, you don't have any fish, do you? You see, because when you did this the first time, you didn't catch anything until I showed up. And you're doing this again, and you didn't catch anything until I showed up. But since I know the attitude of your heart, it wasn't just for, let's go get food. You were going to try and live your life normal as if I never came into your life. You were going to keep on going as if the changes I made in you weren't there. Something I did to you, and you want to go back as if that's it. It ain't going to happen. You're not going to catch any fish that way. And he already knew it. You don't have any fish, do you? Because you tried doing it without me again. We know what happened the first time when you tried to do it without me. You didn't catch any fish, and now you're doing it again without me, and you don't have any fish, do you? So then, no, they answered. They cast the net on the right side of the boat, he told them, and you'll find some. So they did, and they were unable to haul it in because of the large number of fish. Therefore the disciple, the one Jesus loved, said to Peter, "It is the Lord." When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he tied his outer garment around him and plunged into the sea. But since they were not far from land, the other disciples came in the boat, dragging the net full of fish. They got out of the land. They saw a charcoal fire there with fish lying in it and bread. "Bring some of the fish you just caught," Jesus told them. So Simon Peter got up and hauled the net ashore, full of large fish, 153 of them. Even though there were so many, the net was not torn. Jesus has done this before. Sometimes it's going to feel so heavy, but your net is not going to break. Sometimes it feels like what's coming over you is so heavy, but the net is not going to break. But when Peter listened to Jesus, he caught more than what he thinks. He got an overabundance. There was so much they couldn't pull it in, right? And here, what I want to end with is your past. When things get difficult, especially in this walk with Christ, we want to do what Peter did and just go back to what we were good at doing before we met Christ. We're going to go back to what we were comfortable with. Because in that time where I was fishing, that's where I was like, nothing can bother me, nothing can really challenge me. Dude, I'm a fisherman, I know what I'm doing. And then Jesus showed up and said, I can take this to another level if you let me. If you listen to me, I could take whatever it is you're doing and I can take it to another level. I can take your life to another level. I can take, even God is interested in your work. He's interested in your job. I can take that to another level, but you have to let me. Don't revert back to the way you used to do things without me, because you're not going to catch any fish. You're not going to catch any fish. Those guys were out there all night. They didn't catch one fish. In such a big ocean, they didn't catch one fish. I think God was trying to say something. I think so. And we'll do that. We'll revert back. We'll go out trying to fish, and we're not finding anything. Man, I used to get this so easily, and all of a sudden it's just so difficult to find now. Yeah, because he's destroying everything that you went back to. That's why you can't find anything, but you gotta let him do it. I have nothing to go back to. I don't want to go back to anything. There's nothing left for me out there. I have nothing to lose giving my life to Christ. I won't let the enemy remind me of my past and freeze me from believing the word of God and what God said about me. I don't care what the enemy says. Those are all, they're stupid lies. I don't care about them. What does the word say about me? What does the word say about my past? God said it's done and over with. He died on the cross for it no matter what was done. Think about the worst crime ever, God will forgive that person. If that person comes to Christ and said, Lord, forgive me for my sins, he will forgive that person. And there's some Christians out there who would actually be mad at that, who would actually be angry at that. But Lord, that guy killed my daughter, and you're going to forgive him? Lord, that guy molested my child, and he's asking you forgiveness. How are you going to do that? I'm your servant here. Well, how are you going to forgive him, man? That ain't right. You gotta think about that stuff. That's where your faith gets challenged. That's where your hope gets challenged. That's where God just takes you and says, you know, your forgiveness has been so comfortable. Now I'm going to take your forgiveness and take it to another level. Because we have limits to our forgiveness. Some of us do. We have limits. You know, I usually forgive around this parameters. But when God is telling you, I'm telling you to forgive out of those parameters, where it's tough for you to do it, that's when you know God is trying to take me to another level in my forgiveness. Where he's telling you, you need to call this person and you need to talk to this person and tell them, forgive me. And you're like, I didn't do anything. Why do I got to ask for it? It doesn't matter. You need to go do it because I'm telling you to do it. You don't know what I'm working on the other end. Your job is to just go and do it. I know this is about the past, but forgive it. You know, we discuss God here, okay? We discuss the word, and this is all just, this is what comes up, you know? So do not let your past hold you from moving on. Don't turn to a pillar of salt. God already said he's doing something new. Open your eyes. He's about to break it. He's going to break the damage. He's going to break all those things so you can keep on going. Right?
Amen.
Let's